Hey, good morning, family. So, Reginald Martin here of Metaphysics Sacred Alchemy, where ancient wisdom becomes modern awakening. Do your manifestations? You're having trouble with them? Are you like thinking positive, but things still aren't happening? Let me explain to you why. So that's what we're going to talk today about. And it's really about big time. It's about mindset, and that's usually what it comes down to. So my question to you is, are you a thermometer or are you a thermostat? Okay, and that's the analogy for the different mindsets here. So a lot of times what happens is with the thinking positive crowd is that you can think positive in the moment, but the rest of your life and the rest of your time, you are really just a pessimistic or negative individual. And you can be swayed by public opinion, by the news, what people might think about you, just different things like that. So consider that when you have all these things that are outside of you that influence you, your temperature or your excitement is going to go up and down with whatever the prevailing wind is or whatever is happening around you. And I don't know how many times, I talk about this a lot, family, because, I know from experience, just, having your negative thoughts really take a hold of you, and it's like they won't let go. And thoughts, a lot of times, they are really like viruses, because they are going to attract like thoughts, but those viruses also repel the opposite. So when you're in that negative frame, and and I've been there, and I've talked about before just how, I got into this negative frame of mind about just what I was doing, and it got to a point to where I started to project all this negative stuff into the future, and it was like, family, it's like I just couldn't shake it, and sure enough, it was just like, I'm doing my best to think positive. I'm doing my best to, to stay focused on my desires, but those negative ideas, I couldn't shake them, or I couldn't shake them enough. So what ended up happening is I manifested my fears. And in that sense, I was being like, I was projecting this negativity into my future, and that negativity is what actually ended up manifesting, okay? It was a matter of my beliefs that kept me focused on the negative ideas. So a thermostat is the opposite, okay? The opposite of a thermometer. So a thermostat regulates your environment, So when you want something to be cooler, you go to the thermostat and you change it, okay? You want something to be warmer, you go to the thermostat and you change it. And then the thermostat regulates the temperature of the environment in the room that you're in, okay? So the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat is, of course, that the thermometer is swayed by the outside environment, and the thermostat creates the environment. If you're having trouble manifesting your desires, you could even be in thermostat mode, and I was in thermostat mode, but I was in a negative mode, okay? But a lot of people are swayed by the environment. They're swayed by the news. People come to me and say, well, what are your thoughts about, this thing and that thing happening, and, and what's going on in the world, and, and blah, blah, blah. And my thoughts are that, family, I always come back to one simple sentence. You create your reality. No matter what's happening around you, everybody has their own deal that they're going through. And no matter what's happening around you, you have the ability to regulate. You have the ability to regulate your internal environment. That's what being a thermostat is. When we were religious, a lot of times we were set up to be thermometers because everything was about external validation. And it even got to, where most of us, we would be like, joyous and happy on Sunday, singing with the choir, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as we left church on Sunday, we went back to, living and thinking, doing the same things that we did before. So it was like our spirituality at that point was tied to our setting. Well, true spirituality is really more about you living those principles day in and day out. It doesn't matter about the setting. It just becomes a part of who you are and a part of your life. And you live it, okay? You become it. Well, I know that as when we were religious, some of the ideas were just so contradictory and so confusing that we just kind of like, just threw up our hands in a sense, and we just lived the way we lived, or we didn't even want to think about how we were supposed to be practicing religion, how we were supposed to be practicing these ideas. But true spirituality doesn't put you in conflict. And that's where with the Kemetic ideas, they really start to help you to live, in balance, peace, and harmony. And that's really what Ma'at is about, is that you begin to regulate your internal environment. Ma'at is about the divine feminine, which is the environment within all of us. So whether we're men or women, we all have that divine feminine aspect. We all have that divine masculine aspect, as souls having a human experience. So Ma'at is about you learning how to regulate your environment. And the reciprocity part of Ma'at, think about Ma'at as truth, reciprocity, and balance. The reciprocity part is recognizing that life is your feedback. Life is telling you how you are being from within. It's telling you what your thermostat is set at, so to speak. If things are not happening like you want, then it still comes back to what is your internal environment, because you can plant seeds of desire that you want to live your life in, but if those seeds are planted in an environment or planted in a soil that's negative to those seeds, they can't be nurtured and grown. And that's where if you can think positive for a little while, but your true environment is negative, then your seeds of desire, that what you want to manifest, they just can't grow, okay? They are vibrationally misaligned. So your negative mindset produces a certain vibration. Your desire is a different vibration. They're opposite of each other. And they can't be, the negative environment can't be, the positive desire cannot be nurtured inside a negative environment. So this is just a deeper science, family. So it's not, this is going beyond positive thinking to positive being, And that's what you have, when you practice the metaphysics ideas, then you become positive, okay? You are positive. And not from a Pollyanna, oh, the world is so great and wonderful. Not from that perspective. It's just that the principles, one of the principles is that if you desire something, then you have to stay focused on the desire and not give any attention to the lack or the lack of it. Okay, so where attention flows, energy goes. The vibration goes wherever your attention is focused on. When you stay focused on what you desire, then you automatically stay in the vibrational state where you can become aligned to it. And that's what you're trying to do. That's another part of the aspect of ma'at and balance, is that alignment means balance. If you look at ma'at as like an equation, you look at your inner state and your outer world as two opposites of an equation. When they balance, those equations balance, then you manifest. When your equations are aligned or balanced, then you manifest. But if your equations are off balance, then that's where the positive thinking just doesn't do any good, okay? And it becomes a frustrating proposition to try and manifest, So your thought process, your inner environment, all of that becomes paramount when you're wanting to manifest something, and the idea is to practice in a way that you become a thermostat, and not in a way that you are a thermometer where, life events, whatever the circumstances are in your life, you get swayed by them. And family, believe me, I know how difficult that can be, especially if chaos is happening all around you, But anybody that's been successful at anything knows that when the chaos starts, you still have to stay and maintain that focus on what you desire, and what you're really going after, That's just part of, how successful people operate at any time, okay? So your environment is key. Your inner environment is key. And you have to become the regulator of your environment. You have to become the thermostat of your environment. All right, family? And I wanted to say I am so elated. I've had so many people that signed up for the wait list for my certification program, my metaphysics certification program. And I'm just like, wow, so many. And I'm so happy and really appreciate you guys, reaching out in that way. The class, the actual master class that I'm going to do is going to be on February 22nd. So that's the date that I've set for it. And those of you that are on the wait list will get notified about the application process and getting all the information you need to make a decision on it. And but yeah, so February 22nd, gonna do it at 10 a.m. That February 22nd is a Saturday, if I remember right, and it'll be at 10 a.m. And so we'll get that master class going. Okay. All right, family. I'm gonna go ahead and continue on my walk and work on being that thermostat. Regulate your environment. Regulate that inner environment. All right, family. Y'all have an amazing day. and I will talk to you another time. All right, Reginald Martin out.